If your content sounds helpful, but it isn't converting to clients the way that you would like, here's what's missing. I'm Elle Beloved, a relationship-based business coach, and I help coaches and service providers get more clients sustainably. In this series, I'm helping you understand why you're maybe posting regularly on social media without getting the client conversions that you're hoping for. And I'll be talking you through 3 things you can start to implement or think about implementing inside of your business to still be posting regularly, but get more clients from the same amount of effort. Ultimately, that's one of the keys to having a sustainable business, is because otherwise, you're posting and posting and posting without results. And that's part of what drains us. That's part of what burns us out. And so we really need to make sure that we're doing the right things in the right order with the right strategy to prevent that burnout and to create an actually sustainable business that we love. I'm going to go ahead and start with the biggest one, and the one that's the hairiest and the trickiest to solve because it's the most important. And that is to clarify your signature method. So you may just be recycling a bunch of things from certifications that you've done. You maybe have never really sat down to say, what is my unique approach? What is this blend of what I do? What would I call it? What would I name it? I could even establish some intellectual property here around my own framework, my own method. And when we're in that state and we're just recycling things that we've learned, we kind of have this approach often where I kind of help people with a lot of things. I can help with everything. I just want to be of service. I want to help everyone. I don't want to exclude people. The problem with that is that when you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. I'm probably not the first person who has told you that. And so if your goal is to help the most amount of people possible by speaking too broadly, you're actually speaking to fewer people and you're helping fewer people. And if you narrow your message, if you get clear on your framework, your unique approach, and its core messages, the core things you help people with, you will actually start speaking to more people. You will actually start bringing in more people. You will actually start helping more people. It's actually more excluding to speak broadly because nobody knows that you're talking to them than it is to get super clear around a single message or handful of related messages that you can help people with, very specific problems that you can help people with. This is how having a framework for your business is helpful, and we'll have a video on that coming out very soon. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it if you haven't done that already, because a framework gives you a way to unearth what those problems are for your audience in ways that feel true to you and really relevant for them. Now, if you're sitting here being like, Elle, I hate that you're telling me this. I'm fuming. I'm super annoyed. I don't want to be hearing this message. I feel you. I resisted doing this for years and years and years, which is why I'm out here telling you to do it now, because I don't want you losing the same years that I did because I didn't want to do this. And what I would offer to help you just give it a try and to get past that initial kind of like, is to give you permission to change later and to tell yourself, if I don't like it, if I need to shift later, if my business evolves, if I evolve, you can still shift later. You're not pigeonholed forever. But if you want a sustainable business, if you want a business that's actually bringing in revenue, that's actually signing clients regularly, and you have a strategy to sign clients regularly, you know what works, which is key to having a business, right? To earning revenue. That's what businesses do. If you want that, you need to sort this out. You need to pick something. You need to choose something now, even if it's not for all time. You can always pivot at another time if you really want to. So it's not something you're locked into forever, but it does need to be solved now. And I really want to encourage you to try it. Now, this is one of the core things we do in our provider mastermind because it's kind of a big, hairy process. Often folks need support with this. They need some guidance around this. They need coaching around this. I want to encourage you to check out information about Provider, get on our wait list if we're not open right now, if you would like the fullest kind of support around building out a framework for yourself. The second thing I really want you working on to up level the game of your content in order to secure more clients with the same amount of effort is your hooks. This is something that I also resisted learning. And so I really want to encourage you to do it and to not make the same mistakes that I did. Something that most of my clients need support with. Hooks can feel a little corny. They can feel a little weird at first. And I want to encourage you to think about really all marketing, but hooks included, or perhaps especially, as a different kind of language or a different register of language. So you're not going to speak the same way when you're hanging out with your friends, at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m., whatever your vibe is, as you will if you're giving a formal presentation to the mayor of your city. You're not going to speak the same in those two contexts, and marketing is the same. And it's not inauthentic to have different registers. This is a function of all language. All language has different registers. We have informal registers, formal registers, semi-formal registers. That's really, really normal. And so it makes sense that in order to speak to your audience in a way that motivates them to stop the scroll, to read your content, to be interested, to open your email, we have to use a different register. We have to use a different kind of language. So I want to encourage you to work really hard on getting good at hooks. You can find a myriad of great examples of hooks out there. There are a ton of free resources. And what I want to encourage you to think about as well is that one of the most important missing pieces here when someone finds hooks difficult is that we don't know the common problems our audience wants solved. We haven't done that work around the framework yet. We don't actually know the core messages of the work that we do and who we help and the method that we use to get them to the other side of that problem. And so that's why when I teach hooks, it's after we've built a framework, it's after we've really dived into exactly what the problems are that your audience is coming to you with in a very specific way, even if we're a little resistant to it at first, like we talked about in the point above, because an effective hook is also speaking to the problems that people really want solved, like we talked about in our previous video as well. That can be one of the missing pieces. So keep that in mind if that's something that is you found difficult before. If you've already tried to learn hooks and they still aren't working, you maybe actually have a deeper content issue than just get good at hooks. That's one thing, but getting good at hooks involves knowing your audience on a deep relational level, speaking to the problems they want solved. If you didn't watch the previous video, make sure you do, because I get into that more there. Because you can have a great hook, but if it's something that nobody cares about, no one's going to stop. No one's going to open the email. Your hook needs to be relevant to the problems that your audience is really, really motivated around. And so often that is the missing piece. And again, if you need help doing that, if you don't really know what I mean, make sure you reach out, make sure you're on our list, make sure you're on the wait list for a provider. And that's where we do that work. For the third content fix, I want to speak about your call to action and how you're inviting people into this work with you. So in the previous video, I already talked a little bit about a common problem, which is that we just say, let's get on the phone and talk about working together. This is the same thing, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I want you to think about how you feel when I suggest showing up to do a conversion event. Are you going to teach a masterclass? You're going to do something in person. You could do a 5-day challenge, something where you bring people in to a big experience with you, and then you invite them into deeper work with you. How does that make you feel? What does that bring up for you? Are you a heck yes, I can totally do that? If so, great. Then start doing it. Awesome. And if you have some resistance to it, which is really common, I want to frame this as a security issue. So much of what is required of us as service providers, as entrepreneurs, as coaches is really examining the patterns within ourselves that need to be shifted to show up the way our people need us to show up. It is hard out here being an entrepreneur sometimes. You have to be visible all the time. You have to say your opinions all the time. You could be canceled. People will disagree with you. You could be trolled. It takes a lot of resilience and grit and inner security to do this well and in a way that creates a sustainable coaching business. And what I found sometimes is that when people are posting on social media, they're kind of just dropping a link for a call. It's a little bit of an avoidance of that relationship with your audience, that closer relationship with your audience. We're probably afraid no one's going to show up to our event. Maybe we're afraid of getting a bad fit client and somebody that, is a big problem. These are all issues related to what I frame as secure attachment, feeling secure within yourself, feeling confident in the way that you relate to people, knowing that if there is a problem that arises, that you can handle it. And so if you are somebody who has a lot of strategy, you pursue a lot of strategy, or maybe even if you're new to strategy, but you have some inner wobble and you don't feel totally secure showing up in front of people, or you don't feel so totally secure bringing someone on a discovery call, or you're really worried about having problem clients, I want you to view that through an inner work lens, an attachment system lens, a security lens, like how safe you feel inside. And this is a really important piece of it as well. If you want more content on that, let me know. I'd be happy to create some series for you around some of these inner work pieces, some of these attachment related pieces, nervous system regulation pieces that come out in business. If that is something you're interested in, please do comment below and let me know so I know to make that for you. For the time being, I want you to think about it as maybe you need to slow down. and do some inner reflection, get some coaching around that, get some support around that. Attachment work was my previous specialty prior to doing business coaching. And so I know what it takes in order to shift that attachment system. But I really want to encourage you to see if there's something there that's a little bit deeper underneath why it might be difficult for you to show up and do those conversion events that are really going to make the difference for your business. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you download our free social presence self-audit to check and see if you are making these mistakes or maybe a few other mistakes that we didn't get into today. And make sure that you're watching our next video on how you can actually post less by saying more and still attract clients.